In this spoiler-free movie review, we're discussing Thunderbolts, Marvel's latest attempt to prove that bad guys need group therapy too, because nothing says bonding like a group of morally flexible superhumans. Welcome back to Eat, Sleep, Nerd. In this episode, we're reviewing the latest MCU film, Thunderbolts. There will be no spoilers in this episode, so if you have not seen it yet, don't worry. There's no spoilers in here at all. But if you want some spoilers and want to talk about all that, stay tuned for a subsequent episode where we will be talking about all the story stuff that goes into this movie. But for this episode, let's talk about our review, where we give our score, talk about just the movie as a whole. No spoilers allowed. So I'm your dorky DJ, Corey Winter. Joining me here, we got a small team today. We got Jason Summer.
What?
And Christian James.
Huh? What?
Who's that? Who's that?
Who there? Who there?
Your phone. Who this? Okay.
So I always worry that we're going to struggle with only three of us, but you guys,
Yeah.
we're doing great.
Got it on lock.
Got lockdown.
Well, all right. So yes,
What is happening?
let's not waste any time. We want to make this spoiler-free episode pretty short because we want to save a lot of the meaty stuff for the big spoiler discussion that airs next Tuesday, May 6th. I think I got that right.
Yes.
So the spoiler-free episode is going live this weekend as the movie's fresh in theaters. Then we'll talk about spoiler stuff in our regular Tuesday episode next week. But for now, what we want to do is talk about what this movie was, because we always get to talk about the movie that we saw.
Right.
So Jason's going to summarize it for us. Then we're going to jump right into our score. So go get our overall impressions and stuff with our Eat, Sleep, Nerd score, which we'll talk about in a second. So, Jason,
Yo.
what was Thunderbolts?
Okay. So basically, we start off with Julia Louise DeFontaine being impeached because she's doing some shady stuff. Because of course she is. And basically, she's wanting to clean up all of her really scary secret stuff that's really on the grungy down low. And in order to do that, she wants to clean up all the agents that she's been using for her like really, really crappy missions. And that includes Yelena, Bucky, the fake Captain America, U.S. agent, whatever his name is, Mr. Wyatt Russell. And then let's see, Taskmaster, and Ghost, and is that everybody? Yeah, that's everybody. And Bob.
And Bob.
Right. And
Bob.
then, yes. And then somehow, through the workings of the machinations of the movie, Yelena's foster fake dad shows up, played by Hopper. That's not Hopper shows up in red to help out. And they've got to figure out how to basically fill the void.
All right. I think without spoiling, that's about as you can do. Yeah.
That's pretty spot on.
Not bad. So, yeah, that is Thunderbolts. What an actual synopsis for this film. After finding themselves ensnared in a death trap. Ensnared? An
Wow,
unconventional
you've heard
team
that
of
word before.
anti-heroes must embark on a dangerous mission that will force them to confront the darkest corners of their pasts. So it's a pretty gloomy synopsis if you think about it.
Gloom
So
and doom.
a mission indicates that it was something planned out and part of an overarching idea or something that was meant to happen. I don't think mission is the correct word. They were thrown into a crock pot and said either cook or fight. And I think they picked fight.
Okay. How's that cop?
Is it coffee?
It's coffee in.
All right, so let's not talk about too much story stuff because we don't want to spoil it yet again. No spoilers in this episode.
Right.
Spoiler-free zone here. But I do want to talk about overall impressions. So what we're going to do here, we're going to talk about our impressions while giving our score. So give our score, each individual score, and justify that with your impressions and overall feelings of the film. Does that make sense? Then once we give our individual scores, we'll average them together for the overall Eat, Sleep, Nerd score. So on a scale of 5, it's been a while since we've done this, so just as a reminder, on a scale of 5, we allow decimals for some reason.
It just happens.
It just happens, I guess. Christian?
Me?
Who's going first?
Oh, I guess it's me.
So what do you think this movie deserves score-wise?
I think it deserves a 4 out of 5.
Ooh, okay.
Because of the main story of the whole movie, it is a subject matter that hits a lot of people that no one really talks about.
Mhm.
And in this realm or universe, it's a real, like, it gets to the point to where no one ever thinks about these kind of people going through these kind of things. And it brought home the possibility, even like it made a lot of these people, even though they're superhuman, really relatable. I'll say that. And it really brings in the emotional side of just seeing these characters now within these movies, because it's basically a movie of side characters.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And that's it. And it's like, how do you care about a side character?
Right. And maybe that's why there's the asterisk after Thunderbolts.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I do. You know what? That's actually a good point. Up until this movie, none of these characters that are leads in this movie have been leads in the past.
Correct.
In fact, they've been the bad guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, bunch of bad guys.
That is
Yeah.
interesting. I guess probably the person that got closest was not Captain America.
U.S. agent.
Kyle-
US agent.
Almost-
He got close
yeah.
to being a lead in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but he was still kind of like a secondary character.
Yeah, he's kind of still kind of secondary. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 4 to 5.
4 to 5. All right, Jason, you're up next.
Well, you know, I've been struggling with this one because I've been trying to figure out if I'm just not enjoying movies as much,
Oof.
or
That's not the way you want to start.
no, I know. I mean, no. I mean, I enjoyed the movie, but you know, am I wanting to give it a 3.5 or a 4? You know, and I'm trying to figure out why. I'm going to give it a 3.85.
Oh.
No, I'll give it a 4. I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of characters which I really enjoyed seeing more of. Bucky.
Mhm.
However, I think that his character shines the best when he's opposite bless you. When he's opposite Sam Wilson.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I really like Yelena, and I really like the Red Guardian. So I enjoyed seeing more of those three characters. There were some things that I thought were fun to watch. Marvel's good at that. I did notice it wasn't as quippy as it normally is, as Marvel normally is.
Still funny.
Still funny, but not quippy.
Yeah.
It was more like organic humor,
like situational.
yeah,
comedy,
but
yeah.
it born out of the events, not contrived or clever.
Yeah.
The music was actually pretty good too. There were a couple parts, and I don't want to spoil it, but where the music kicked in just at the right time for the right hero to show up, and it actually kind of gave me goosebumps. And you can't ignore that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So there we go. 4.
4. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna do it, guys. I'm gonna do it. 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
This hit all the marks for me, especially for an MCU film. I believe that all of the characters were strong. The action sequences were strong. There was an actual, like, a heavy threat. Like, it was like, oh, I don't know if they're going to be able to pull this one off.
Yeah.
It was heavy. It was
really heavy. Yeah.
Very heavy topic, which, aside from maybe, like, the first half of Endgame, has not really been touched on.
Yeah.
Like, they've kind of skirted away from the whole.
It was very much a singular problem in the past with Tony.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
And to your point, the danger, I really thought a few times that we could lose one of them.
Yeah.
Like, these were side characters, like you said, and none of them had been built up to a character that was needed for the Marvel Universe to continue. And so I was like, we could lose them.
Yeah.
Very real possibility is what it felt like.
Yeah. And I think this movie balanced it was kind of like the Scrubs of it all. Like it balanced the comedy and the heavy emotional toll of it really well.
Mhm.
Like one moment it'll be super funny, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's devastating. That hurts my heart. So I think it really handled a large realm of emotions very well. I believe that it had a lot of intrigue, which MCU films have not really had in quite a while. Because I noticed, a good portion of that movie, we had not really seen the actual like main threat yet. Like there was build up leading to it,
Right.
but we had not really seen a bad guy. So I was like, oh, what is this building up to? So there was intrigue, there was suspense.
Okay, yeah, I see where you're coming from.
And I think it was just really well put together, really well written. I think it was a fantastic movie. I was entertained the entire time. And to Jason's point, there were several moments where I was like, oh, is that character gone? Like, did that just happen? Did they just kill them off? So I believe this was a great film, a great MCU film, probably the strongest MCU has been since Guardians 3, probably. So 5 out of 5 for me. 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. That's
well,
that's bold.
It was a really good movie, but I didn't. It's not up there with Winter Soldier.
No.
Yeah, it's not up there with the top tier, but it's close. So afterwards I actually looked up some trivia about the movie.
Okay.
And there are a couple points that I thought were really cool. One was the guy that played Bob looked a lot like Bill Pullman, and the actor's last name was Pullman. Sure enough, it's his son.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, he's almost a dead ringer for his dad. Bill Pullman is of the Independence Day president fame, among other things, Lone Star and Spaceballs. I know he's done a lot more, but that's pretty much where the kind of movies I watch for the most part. No.
Well, yeah, you're right. I think that's the only movies I've seen.
Yeah, no, but and then Florence Pugh campaigned hard to perform the stunt of jumping off that building at the end, and she actually jumped.
Yeah,
and
very very Tom Cruise-ian stunt.
Yeah, I thought that was badass. And then of course Wyatt Russell is the son of Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell.
Yep.
So you had
who used to play hockey at UAH here in Huntsville.
Yes, he did.
Fun fact.
Yes. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Kurt Russell?
No.
Wyatt,
his son.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm pointing at the TV, guys. That's
Wyatt.
Yeah.
So yes, averaging all those scores together, a Christian a 4, a Jason a 4, a me a 5. That puts the Eat Sleep Nerd score as a 4.33 out of 5. Do you guys see how fast I put that together?
That's pretty good.
Executive, three of us.
I feel like that looks like a template.
I like the red.
Yeah.
And the yellow. It's almost like it's our colors.
Yeah.
4.33 out of 5. So that's pretty top tier for the
I feel like that's pretty spot on with Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. So yet again, without talking spoilers here, let's talk about some just the big elements of the thing. So as far as just the story goes, yet again, without talking points, how did the story hit for you guys?
So I wanted a big portion of the story, how they address the big bad. I think talking about it is kind of a spoiler because.
So I was going to say this is a very hard movie to talk about without spoiling anything.
Yeah, because it's more like concepts are like a theme that run through the movie, and the concepts are what end up finding the resolution, or at least bringing us to the conclusion of the story. God, I don't know what.
I think as far as this story goes, aside from just being a good story, I loved it. I was pleased that this wasn't just a Suicide Squad repeat.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a gang of misfits that the government brought together to defeat this bad guy that no one else could defeat. Like, it wasn't really that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, and also, other than Suicide Squad, we've seen them do other things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I guess they couldn't, like, pigeonhole them to do Suicide Squad type of movie. So it's like, we know they have more to them than what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, through the movies that they were in, we kind of had enough of an origin of each of them.
Right.
Yeah. Except for Bob.
So there's no like
Sure.
weird exposition throughout the whole movie for each of them. You know, they stopped at this one place, so now it's this person's story, or they went to another place and now it's this person's story. Like, no.
Well, okay. I will say that I felt like the impeachment hearings and the discussions in the limousine with DeFontaine were exposition heavy. And that's kind of where the points were lost for me. Like, it felt like, hey, how do we really narrate what's going on here? Oh, let's use an impeachment hearing and them talking about what we need to do while we're in the limo. And it felt kind of shoehorned in for me. And that's where the points were lost for me.
You know, I kind of felt that too, especially during that one scene where Wendell Pierce shows up. That was it was getting it. I don't want to spoil anything, but I guess the impeachment's not really a spoiler.
No, that's
it's
where
kind
the
of like a
starts.
setup. Yeah. I did feel like that was a little exposition-y because it was very much laying everything out for you,
right,
word for word. But also, I kind of feel like they had to do that because there were so many elements that were being pulled in from all these different TV shows and movies that if you hadn't seen one of those, you would have missed a lot.
Yeah.
But it's Marvel and Disney, and you can get the best writers on the planet. Yeah. And that's not an excuse.
That's fair. That's fair.
So anyway, that's where, and I was actually it was actually making me wonder at those points. I hope this is going to be a good movie because I was starting to get worried at those points. But after those exposition dialogues or whatever, we did good.
Okay.
Or it might have been, you know, for Miss DeFontaine to get some screen time, because without that, because it's not about her, right, but it's about her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
because of her.
Yeah. She is involved in said story.
She's the one that kicks the domino.
Right.
Sure.
Not to give it, you know, like, but you know, it could have been this. I get it. Like, the exposition was kind of like, did we need it? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
But I also will say that, you know, a big complaint of the everything post-Endgame is that a bunch of these things, it just didn't seem like anything was adding up to anything. But I kind of felt like this was the first movie where we started getting a lot of payoff for stuff that's been happening for years at this point. Like we got some payoff from Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
We got payoff from Black Widow. We got payoff from tons of stuff. Like we got payoff from Ant-Man 2. We got payoff from a bunch of stuff. So like it felt like it didn't feel forced either. Like I felt like this was all a natural like conclusion to a lot of those things.
Yeah.
It wasn't retroactively forced to make sense. It seemed like this was always the plan, at least for this part of the story.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. The
DeFontaine aspect of it, like what that was building to.
Right.
It was all supposed to lead here.
Yeah. Because she popped in and out of different projects. So yeah, it's because it from the other projects you would assume that it would be something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, to what this turned out into. Yeah, good.
The most unbelievable portion of this movie was a shaggy-haired, unkempt Bucky successfully ran for office.
That felt very okay. I will give you that, honestly, because we got that tease in Captain America: Brave New World.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, really? Is that what this character is doing now?
Yeah.
I don't feel like that really needed to happen.
Yeah, like how
I mean, it's getting very close to spoilers right there, but I feel like he didn't need to be a congressman for this.
Like why? Or what kind of? What actually? Who are his constituents? Like, what part of the United States is he? You know, a congressman for?
I guess they didn't really say.
It was like,
have they?
I want the guy with the metal arm.
I'd vote for him.
I mean, he's got a shady past. He's got, you know, he
saved the universe,
but he was a Soviet era spy.
Yeah.
I mean,
also, this dude can't shave and get a haircut. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that was the one thing. Yeah. I was like, you know, I don't know if that part of his story really was relevant. Like, it didn't need to happen for this story to make sense.
Right.
Yeah.
I just felt like that was kind of a fun thing. Like, oh yeah,
unless it's something for later.
Maybe. Yeah, it could be.
But we'll see.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll see.
Marvel, although Marvel does well at tying things together, they also have a history of things not paying off either. So
Yeah.
All right, let's talk acting. Another big aspect that doesn't have any spoilers involved, right? So acting, thought it was fantastic. A little bit of it felt a little forced, but I think in general this was pretty good acting. Like I don't think it was Black Panther Wakanda Forever acting level good.
Yeah,
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Just some of the back and forth between. I hate saying this name over and over again, but DeFontaine,
Julia Louise
Dreyfus,
Louise Dreyfus.
yeah,
Pronounce the S.
Louis Dreyfus,
Louis Dreyfus. Julia Louis Dreyfus.
Julia Dreyfus.
Julia,
Sure.
I don't know. Elaine.
Julia, yeah, Elaine. The back and forth between Elaine and her assistant it seemed like weird,
Yeah.
The assistant's acting was mid.
The assistant's acting felt like it was pulled right out of like Spider-Man Homecoming.
yes,
It felt like a teenager in high school goofiness type of acting.
yeah,
I definitely did not like her. She's probably my least favorite part of the film.
yeah, and but everybody else, like their chemistry coming off of each other was really good. But you have like Florence Pugh. She's been in some serious stuff, so she really knows how to bring out the drama.
I think the one acting thing, it might not have been really an acting thing, it might have just been a character thing, but the Red Guardian, I loved him in Black Widow, but in this movie, his over-the-topness, excitement for everything kind of started to grind my gears a little bit. It kind of almost got to be annoying.
Yeah.
But
I wonder if that was the point.
Yeah.
Because when he pulled back and was genuine, it really hit home.
Yeah.
And I think that was the point. That we were supposed to not like the characters, I think, initially. Like Wyatt Russell's what the heck is his name in them?
John Walker.
Thank you, John Walker. Man, I hated him right off the bat. What a schmuck.
Well, we were made to hate him.
God dang.
The last time we really saw him, I guess, was in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
We were supposed to hate him because he was a dick.
Yeah.
Well, he kept it up, and nicely done, sir.
So aside from the acting, other elements, CGI.
Yeah, I thought everything looked pretty good.
I guess let's talk action in general. So action plus CGI.
Yeah, like it wasn't. I guess if any of you out there have seen Daredevil, nothing like Daredevil.
Okay.
Show was fantastic, but the CGI in the show, it seemed kind of rushed. But in the movie so far, like everything looked really good. Like nothing looked like too over the top. Especially with the cinematography of the movie, like it was kind of like brooding at all times. Yeah. And so there was nothing to like, we could hide something over here or hide something over here. No, it looked pretty good.
I'll talk about this in the non-spoiler because we saw this in the trailer. It's when people disappear.
That's a good point. I guess that part of it was in the trailers.
Yeah, it freaked me out.
Yeah,
and like there was a bit of a shudder to me when I saw it, and when I was looking at trivia, it kind of made sense that they designed it to look like nuclear blast shadows. From people who had been disintegrated from a nuclear explosion. Yeah. So they wanted it to look horrifying and suspenseful. So they did a good job with that. So good job on the concepts as well.
Yeah, the disappearing was shocking, especially in certain parts of the movie.
We'll make sure to talk. I know exactly. Like that was very much a mind reading thing. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like, oh my god, like they went for it on that. But like you said, it's jarring on how it happens, and it's like you have that doom and gloom, and that sinking feeling in your stomach, and it's like, whew, this is gonna be bad. I don't know how we're gonna get out of it.
What are some other big elements of the film we can talk about without spoiling anything.
Do you have something that you want to talk
Not
about?
really. I feel
Okay.
like I really just want to talk spoilers at this point. But
Yeah.
what else you guys got?
I think we've covered all that we can.
Mhm.
I do.
There's no.
Well, okay, let me ask you a bigger question.
Sure.
Is the MCU back?
Don't know yet.
Is this a positive direction change?
It was a good movie. It was it I think it's a stepping stone movie. It's a solid stepping stone, but really what will determine is what comes after.
Mhm.
That's my thought. So I'm not going to say this says one way or the other.
I think this is what Captain America: Brave New World should have been. It should have been a little bit more gritty like this.
Yeah.
It should have been a little bit more emotional like this.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this had all the elements that Brave New World should have had.
Yeah, I feel like Brave New World. I think what really got it for some people is that Brave New World was wrapped up.
Mhm.
Like this. Oh, we're getting to the end, and boom, it's wrapped up.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
There's no other like weird that other like consequences like that you would think about for later or anything like that. But,
I will say that I did see some consequences from Brave New World in this movie. I'm not going to spoil it,
they did bring up some things from that movie. Yeah.
but I'll talk about this.
But yeah, it did. Yeah, it just didn't seem like it was like, okay, we're done.
Yeah.
But I will say, this may be a hot take, that the fandom grow up, just grow up. It's not the Infinity Saga. That's cool. It's a different saga. We're in a different mood of movies. You either like to watch movies or you don't. You're it's the equivalent of kids just buying picture books and not really wanting to read.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're saying is we're dealing with more adult topics now.
Not necessarily just adult topics,
Okay.
but you're reading the book. We're getting into more advanced literature.
Okay.
As one would say.
Well, I mean,
Wow.
You're right, because the audience that grew up watching the original saga of MCU films, they've grown up too. It's like they're older now. So people that are watching the MCU are older than they were 20 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
In the MCU films that have performed well critically and box office wise in post-Endgame era were the heavier films. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and now Thunderbolts, all very heavy films.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's not even about like moving the universe with the people that grew up with it, but now they're having the problem of doing that and also gaining new watchers, because there's new people every day going back to the beginning to watch all the movies.
Sure.
And so they're trying to keep those people and us. And then, and so I feel like you just have to go into every movie from Endgame on and or show with a grain of salt.
A really fine example of this, and a completely different intellectual property, is Star Wars. Like, I hate episodes 1, 2, and 3. Don't like them at all. But there are people who love them, and they are their movies because they were my age when these movies came out. They were kids and teens when those movies when 1, 2, and 3 came out, and that's their Star Wars, and they love it.
Yeah.
So you can't get hung up. Like, I'm not going to diss somebody because they like episodes 1, 2, and 3. I just know what I like and don't like. So to your point, we're now 17 years into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're looking at almost a new generation of people.
Yeah.
Watching these movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to keep the people coming.
Yeah. And I'll also say, like, yeah, we're getting to more like advanced literature. There's other stuff that happens other than explosions. If you want explosions, go to Michael Bay.
Explosion.
It's fine, really. Yeah. And like, for me, I loved Eternals.
For example, oh, never mind. No, for example, here's a good one. Loki we put on S tier. That is story driven. there's hardly any action in Loki.
Very much story.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a good point.
All right. So what we've started to do here, anytime we watch a new MCU film, because there's one every couple of months, we want to put it on our official MCU tier ranker scale. So if you're familiar with tier ranker, or if you're not, the S tier is the best of the best. The D tier is the worst of the worst. So currently in our D tier, we have Thor: The Dark World, we have Secret Invasion, and we have Thor: Love and Thunder. Ooh, Thor, come on, what are you doing? In the S tier, we have obviously Captain America: the Winter Soldier. We have Loki, the television series. We have Avengers: Infinity War, Endgame, the original Avengers, and Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, bunch of stuff in the A tier, but bunch of stuff in the B tier. Where do we think Thunderbolts fits in?
A. I say A.
So A is stacked.
Yeah, it was definitely better than Black Widow.
So that's a good point. That's a good point.
I
I wouldn't agree with that comparison, but
mean, it was.
I
I would.
do actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was better than Thor. What is that? Is that just Thor?
So in the B
original
tier,
Thor?
so think about stuff it might be
Yeah.
better than. We have Civil War.
I wouldn't say that.
Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Black Widow. We put Black Widow in B. Interesting.
That is interesting.
Hawkeye, Age of Ultron, the first Thor, Falcon and Winter
Yeah.
Soldier. It's a bunch of stuff that actually feeds directly into this film.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The first Ant-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Captain America, Brave New World. So I
Yeah.
definitely would say
Yeah,
it's definitely
I would
better
say
than that
B,
stuff.
yeah. I would say B.
Christian?
Yeah.
All right. Feels right. That feels
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Fine.
Well, all right. I think
Okay.
that's about all there is to say about that as far as no spoilers goes. We have lots of spoilers coming your way in our next episode that airs on May 6th, this coming Tuesday. I think that's the right date. That sounds right.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is correct.
You're right.
Any final non-spoily thoughts?
Go see it while in theaters. Treat yourself. Don't wait.
Yeah, it's definitely a theater movie.
Yeah, it's a theater movie.
Definitely.
Get your popcorns. Get your sodas. Your soda pops. And go watch the Thunderbolts. Asterisk.
Asterisk.
We're going to talk about what that asterisk means
do.
in our spoiler
We will.
episode. So,
Go soccer teams.
all right. All right. So thank you for tuning in. If you have not already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@EatSleepNerd. Please like this video if you have not already. Leave a comment, non-spoily comments only on this video if you have not, or I guess if you have seen the movie, it doesn't really matter as long as there's no spoilers. Please share us with your friends and family over on social media. And Christian, 3 things nerds should be doing before they go catch Thunderbolts in theaters.
Get therapy.
That's true though.
Reach out to a friend.
Aww.
Eat, sleep, nerd.
All right, take it easy, people.